Hi there, it's Jennifer and welcome to another product release close-up video. This one focuses on the newest goodies from Altenew. In this video, I'm going to show you their newest stamps and also give you some ideas for using them. So maybe it helps you decide if any of these products are right for you. By the way, as always, I was not asked to do this video. I just did it because I think it's a great release. I'm going to start with my favorite from this release, and that is the Peony Bouquet. Now, this is probably my favorite stamp layering set of all time. You can stamp the solid image and then the other images on top of each other. They're very easy to line up. And then there's also the outline image that you can put on top of that or use separately. So you can do that outline and do watercolor in it or whatever you want, or you can do the layering of the images in here. I like that you can use it in a variety of ways. I also like that there's a smaller flower on here, some little berries that you can do layering with, and a variety of different leaves. So you can really get a lot out of this one large stamp set. I'm going to quickly stamp the layered peony so you can see how easy it is to do. I always start with the most solid image and my lightest ink, and then I work up to darker inks and the images with the most amount of detail. So you can see here, just with 2 layers alone, you get an incredible image. I just think that's so beautiful, and you can see it's very easy to line up. You don't need a stamping tool to do so. So now I'm going on to the third image and my third darkest ink here, and this just adds even more detail to it. I think this would be beautiful to do maybe one of these layers with gold embossing. It would just be gorgeous. Now you could leave that flower as is or stamp the outline image over it also to get even more definition to it. You could skip that if you wanted to, or even use the outline alone. I wanted to share a few more examples using the stamp set, so I asked my friends Tasneem and Jennifer of Altenew if I could share some cards from the Altenew blog. Their blog is fantastic. I'll link to it. I highly recommend it. These are some of the cards that they did, and you can see how beautiful cards are using the stamp set. I also think it would be fun to stamp the layers of this flower with distress ink and then add a touch of water to it to give a watercolor look. I will be using this stamp set in a video very soon, so stay tuned for that. The next stamp set in this release I wanted to show you is the Botanical Garden. I have a video coming up using this also. What is great about this stamp set is it looks hand-drawn, so you can really go a variety of directions with the style of the stamp set. You can go for a perfectly colored image if you want to, maybe using Copics, or you can do something a little more artsy by using watercolor with it, maybe a messy watercolor method. This is one of those stamp sets that's very forgiving to work with. I really like the rosebud at the top, and also how unique this flower here is on the bottom. And this set includes many images that you can use together or individually for a simple card. I think it would be fun to use markers, maybe distress markers, right on the stamp itself, mist it, and then stamp it for a fun watercolor look. Next, we have Mini Blossoms. This is another one that can be used in many ways. You can use the solid flowers themselves, or the outline flowers by themselves, or use them together for a layered look. Very simple, and I like that there are so many different flowers, so you could even create a bouquet from it. This is an example from the Altenew blog, and I thought it was beautiful. Very simple, and you can use whatever ink colors you have on hand. Next, we have the Brush Art Floral, and if you've watched my videos, you know that I dream of being a beautiful watercolor painter, but I just don't have the talents for it. So I like stamp sets like this that really help me out. You could stamp this with, say, a distress ink, add just a touch of water to it with a brush, or even mist it with a water bottle, and you can create some fun watercolor effects. You could also scribble a marker right onto the stamp, mist it, and stamp with it for a watercolor look. Or you can stamp it solid and you get kind of a crayon look with these stamps. I really like that there are so many stems and little accents to put along with the flowers. And there's even some tulip-shaped flowers, which is something that you don't see often with the stamp set. This is one of those larger stamp sets, so the images are really good sized, so they fill up your card nicely. And here's an example from the Altenew blog. Again, it's very simple, but absolutely gorgeous. Now we have the Painted Inspiration. Lots of different quotes here, all with like a hand-painted feel. I like these because I can use them with a card that I created with watercolors, and the painted feel of it matches the card nicely. I also like that these aren't just your typical greetings. There's more to them. Now, my favorite one in this stamp set is on the top left there. It says, "A beautiful person sees the beauty in others." I think that's a great sentiment to put on a card to a friend. Along the same lines with the same kind of feel is the painted greeting set. Now this one covers all the different greetings you could really need. I like that it has cheer up in there, miss you with sympathy. I love the hand painted feel of this. It makes me feel like I hand lettered it myself. I'll be using this in a video soon also. If you really want to make this look hand painted, I encourage you to maybe ink it up with Distress ink, mist it a little bit, and then stamp with it and let it dry, and it'll look like you painted it. Another sentiment set that I really like in this release is called You Are. There are many unique sentiments in here, and I think you could build a bunch of them up and use them together to create a background. You can put the images you are the best, you are amazing, you are awesome, you are special, you are incredible, you are a blessing. You can put those all together and stamp them repeatedly on a background to create a really encouraging card. You could use these greetings individually also. I like that they're so small and detailed, they can be used for a variety style of cards. I also like the fun kind of leafy flourishes in this set. You could gold heat emboss these and put just a touch of messy watercolor in the inside, or you can have fun practicing with your Copics. Here's an example from the Altenew blog. This is just gorgeous and it didn't take much time at all. Okay, so now we're moving on to a teacher set. I'm a sucker for teacher sets. This one's called Teacher's Rule, and it has a layered apple, so you can stamp the layers to create a realistic apple. There are a lot of great teacher sentiments in here, but what makes this stand out from other teacher sets is that it has the words art, music, gym, library specialist, classroom, so you can make this specific to a certain type of teacher. I also like that it says with love and appreciation, and even you are the apple of my eye, and thank you from my core. I think that's sweet too. Here's an example from the Altenew blog. There's the layered apple, so pretty. I think it'd be fun to put some highlights of gold foil on that also. Next up, we have the Trophy Life stamp set. This is great for masculine cards, although it can be used for feminine cards too. So you can stamp these images together and build a really fun trophy, maybe use some gold or silver embossing powder with them. And then there are sentiments that you can use for a variety of people, like you're a star dad or you're a star husband, couple, wife, kid, all kinds of things on here. So this would be great for coaches' cards or teachers that are masculine, maybe a gym teacher. You can use this in many different ways. Again, I encourage you to check out the Altenew blog because they have great examples like this one. This would be great for a Father's Day card. I think it would be really fun to use some foiling techniques on these trophies so you can get some really fun shine. Now, the last stamp set in this release is super sweet. It's called Way Too Sweet, and there are some great images in here. I like that it has the cupcakes, the candy, the lollipops, or no, I would say those are popsicles, and ice cream all in one set, so you can create some fun backgrounds. I plan to use that love one over there with the heart as a balloon, change that to make it look like a balloon, just so I can get more life out of the stamp set. So there is a closer look at this newest Altenew release. If you are interested in the products, I have them linked below to a few sources. You can also go to my blog by clicking on the top left here on my logo. More information there. In the middle are 3 other videos you might like. The first 2 show using Altenew stamps for some fun techniques, and the last one shows the previous Altenew release. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll return again soon, and I'll be using some of these stamp sets in that video. Thanks for watching.